to the opportunity to be in it.
Thank you so much, Brandon. Really do appreciate it. Just to lay out, where we're going from here, like Brandon, Kevin had said, and Bill, we have been negotiating, and I will be presenting to the council a contract that has been negotiated by our attorneys with their attorneys, the salient terms of which will be $2.8 million for the sale of the property, and a number of other conditions, including $25,000 at signing and some other things. And I'll be asking at the next town council meeting for this town council to approve and authorize the execution of that contract, so that we could then schedule a town meeting after that and ask the town to vote and approve not only the sale, but this new partnership with a company that is probably the biggest thing to come to New Milford since Kimberly-Clark. So that's what we provide to you. I'll provide members of the council with the appraisal and the contract when it is finalized. And be clear, a gentleman from Panda will be making a presentation to the Economic Development Commission on Thursday evening, right, Frank? At what time?
5:30.
5:30. So there are some members of the town council that are absent here tonight. I'm going to urge everybody from the town council and to the other, people in government and the community to attend Thursday's meeting. And like the gentleman from Panda have said, there will be opportunities to engage with them, to listen to the community. We'll be setting up forums in the meantime as well. So take advantage. Their information is up there, and they actually do expect you to call them, talk to them. They are not, just saying that. Those are not just words, and I could certainly attest to that. They will talk to anybody, and that's an important part of this process going forward. And I'm glad to see that they are as committed to that as we are. It's going to work. It's going to mean a very good working relationship with this company.
We do return phone calls.
They do, and email and everything else, and it is very much appreciated. Without getting too much into the weeds, does anybody have any additional questions? Like I said,
I just have two questions.
Sure.
The water, is the water coming from the river, or are you digging wells, or?
We will contract with the local water supplier.
Oh, okay.
Aquarium.
So aquarium. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not coming from the river then.
No, the site does have water access, but we do
Okay.
not expect to use it.
Just concerned because of the drought
Exactly.
with the river.
Yeah.
And I just have one other question. For all these employees that are going to be coming in here, are they going to be receiving, I'm sure you're not paying them, is it individual contractors that are going to be paying them? And will they be getting any kind of benefits, like healthcare benefits with their jobs? Do you know that?
Yes, so we would hire the EPC, engineering, procurement, construction contractor that builds a plant. They hire out, so they have their own employees, and then they hire subcontractors under them. Yes, they have benefits, and then the full-time jobs, the 25 to 30, have full-time benefits with jobs starting around $75,000.
They'll be well paying.
Okay. That's good to know. Thank you.
Mr. Wargo.
And by the way, another thing that we do is we will make it a requirement for the general manager of that plant to live here.
Absolutely.
We want that person to be accessible to the community at all times. We want them to plug in. We expect them to go to whatever the meetings are, if it's the Kiwanis, if it's the Rotary Club. Rotary, I'm sorry, Frank, I didn't mean to, I meant to say Rotary first. We expect them to be accessible to the community, and we want you to bump into them at the grocery store and at the restaurant. We intend to plug in here. Working fun.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mr. Bass.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having us.
I had a couple of questions. First is if the town does sell the property, we have the revolving loan with a remediation.
It's all taken care of. It's going to come out of the purchase price.
Okay. Next question I had was this footprint of the proposed plant.
Yes, sir.
So what's the proposed footprint as far as width and height?
Exact width, I'll have to determine post, we'll select the technology, etc. I mean, it's roughly 8 to 10 acres, depending on the final technology. Height, you're roughly a couple stories. Your stack height is your highest. That will be anywhere from 80 to 120 feet, depending. Could be a little more, a little less. It just depends on the final profile.
Is that on top of the 1 to 2 stories, or that's
No, that's from ground level.
from ground level?
Yes, sir.
Ground level down.
Yeah, so you have 8 to 10 acres of the plant itself. We'll have admin buildings. You'll have to build a switch yard to connect to the transmission line, etc. So there'll be, but I'm just talking about the plant itself.
And when you're at max employment of 200, 300, 500 people,
Yes, sir.
you're saying your ramp-up time is 30 months?
Yes.
What happens once the construction, in your experience with the plants that you have now, once the ramp-up is done, the build-out is complete, where does that workforce tend to go?
I'll let you answer.
They will go to the next, whatever the next project is, that they get an opportunity.
A lot of them will work with a certain contractor and go right next, or if they like the region, they'll go to it.
So a big part of these are just specific and they know they're moving
Exactly.
country to country. Then what's left over is the 30 people that will maintain and operate the plant.
Correct.
Right.
And you need the full footprint of the whole parcel?
Let me go to that. So originally, it was proposed, and we were talking about splitting up the parcel. So Panda was very cooperative in saying that they don't necessarily need it; they would prefer the entire footprint. So what happened was, as we were negotiating the price, and we were talking about the difficulty of subdividing the parcel and identifying the buildable acres versus the non-buildable. It became much more efficient, much more beneficial to the town to sell Panda the entire parcel without breaking it up into subdivisions. And when we did that, we approached Public Works. We kind of started with a clean slate. We said, well, if we were going to relocate Public Works, would this be our first choice? And the answer was no. I mean, it's not an ideal situation for Public Works. We'd have to raise the railroad bridge over by Medon still. We've got issues with it, sometimes being cut off by flooding, which is why the ambulance barn is not our emergency management center. And when we looked at it from that point of view, and talking with Mike, we're starting to identify parcels that are more conducive to a public works and an industry and an industrial complex kind of situation. So with the proceeds, the additional proceeds that we're getting from this sale, we're going to have money to either purchase a parcel or utilize property that the town already owns. So we're in the process of looking at that. It's not going to be rushed, but it gives us a lot more leeway and opportunity in doing it that way and not having to worry about splitting up this site. And frankly, if Panda wants the entire site, it's an old brownfield site, we were very happy that they were willing to purchase it and give us a fresh slate and a fresh start. So that's the thinking behind that. Yes, Mr. Morgan.
Kevin, do you know offhand? I'll wait.
Sorry.
Do you know offhand how many acres the present Century Brass is?
The building?
Yeah.
No, I mean, the site, 70 acres.
No, not the building itself.
Well, the building's 320,000 square feet.
Yeah, but
So
I don't do that. The point is, I'm trying to, what Pete was saying, how big is the footprint of the building? And you said 7 acres, about 7 acres.
Mike, did you have an idea of how many acres? 8 acres?
Okay. So it's basically the same footprint of Century Brass, but in a different configuration. It'll probably won't be as long, it'll be more square.
Right.
By the way, once the...
Oh, I got one other thing. Sure. You talked about your outreach to the community.
Yes, sir.
I got a great idea.
Okay.
Panda Park. We need athletic fields in this town in a worse way. We need to find, it would be a great partnership
About a swimming
with
pool.
Panda and with the town.
We're going to dare to dream. I mean, this is going to give
Well, I
us...
want to get my first request. He's going to join Rotary and we're going to get
There's going to be a lot of dreams, but it's just really going to give us an opportunity to, frankly... It's great. Yes.
I just have one other question, and I'm sure you're going to get this from the public. What kind of emissions will be coming out of the stacks?
Yeah, I'm not an environmental person, but I can tell you this will be one of the cleanest power plants in the United States because it will be using the absolute latest in emissions control technology. Mm-hmm. So some of it will depend on the particular technology provider that we go to, but when we do, we will also make sure that we package that. We've gotten some good advice in ways that people can understand. Most people, when they look at a stack on a power project and they see stuff coming out of the top of it, they think it's smoke. It's not. It's water vapor that's coming out of that. Just like when you walk outside on a cold day and you exhale, it's water vapor. One of the biggest emissions that we have is heat. And but the heat, these plants are so efficient that the heat that's coming out of the top of that stack is around 200 degrees. It's not enough to cook a roast. So we pull a lot of that out, but we will have specifics as we go forward on that.
Yeah,
For you.
just furthermore, I mean, like he stated, the control technology. So we are required by the state and the EPA to have the best available control technology. So we can't buy something, you know, that was made 10, 15 years ago for a cheaper price just so the plant, you know, costs less money for us. We have to use the latest and greatest in what's required by the state.
And that is something that our investors require of us, okay? Because they want to make sure that they don't have to deal with any liabilities. So, you know, they don't need to, because again, we were named one of the 10 most eco-friendly energy companies in the United States, but they're very specific. You know, before they hand you a check, $100 million check, they want to make sure that these plants are going to be very clean and that they're going to stand bear scrutiny.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Well, gentlemen, like I said, there's going to be another presentation on Thursday at the Economic Development Commission. I'm going to invite as many people as possible to that, and hopefully we pack this room. Thank you for your presentation. Like I said again, I'm excited for this partnership between New Milford and Panda Power, and I hope that everybody kind of can see the benefits and the opportunity that this really does present for the town. It's a great opportunity for a dilapidated piece of property. So thank you for your time and all the time that you've spent kind of getting ready for this and working with me and Kevin and everybody else. It's much appreciated.
We're as excited as you are. And by the way, I wanted to share this with Mike. You said 1 part per million. That is, if you go, I won't be able to sleep tonight if I don't tell you this, okay? If you were to put an X here and go 16 miles down the road, 1 part per million is 2 inches. So that's how clean it is.
That's
Anyway,
great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll be in touch. Thank you.